Realities cast. That's all we got to say about it today. I'm Brian Noonan. That's Cody Gough. Hi, Cody.
Hi, Brian. I'm writing so many notes
You're writing things down.
extensive pre-show meeting. There's a lot to review, and there's a lot. There's a lot to get to
We did have
today.
a lot. The meeting. I feel like we've already done the show.
We
Our meeting was so extensive.
we are we on an action-packed show that may be shorter than usual, depending on a couple of things that will be relevant in about 30 seconds once we
Wow.
do our
All
check-in.
right. First of all, I like your shirt.
Thank you, thank you. I got it from an event,
For
very
an
fancy
event,
event. So I was in my cousin's wedding. That was
Ooh.
kind of fun. It's the thing I'll briefly talk about. Ear protection around babies. Ear protection around babies. There's a tease.
Okay.
Brian had a couple documentaries that he watched that he briefly mentioned at the end of last week's episode, but I think we should just dive
Well,
into
we'll
it.
see.
Maybe a bit deep. Well, we'll see how we're feeling.
Who knows?
Uh,
Yeah, things may go off the rails. We don't know.
Yeah, and CM Punk is back in the professional wrestling world.
I saw that on Twitter.
He returned in Chicago while I was at my cousin's wedding, and and actually, that all ties into lots of other stuff. But let's start with our
Wow.
10-second, 30-second check-in. I understand you just woke up.
I did. Pardon me? Yes. I'm woozy. I'm a tad drowsy. I had to drive out to my mom's and then back in horrible traffic, and then we ate dinner. And with dinner, I had a glass of wine, and then we sat down. Debbie wanted to watch some new show on Hulu. I found it quite boring, so boring that I slept through all of it, and I woke up at about 8:15.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a tad could be out of it. You never know. I
Now,
could be out of it.
was it like an out of it kind of day before? Or was it kind
No,
of no?
it was a stressful day, kind of day where I pray for the eternal darkness to descend on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we'll get into that. We could get into that later.
Okay.
But
All right.
I was trying to stay to your schedule. I like your quick check-ins, so I'm a
Yeah.
little woozy. But if history can teach us anything, last week I came out of the blocks very slow and immediately exploded into a tirade.
You came out of the blocks very slow, you say.
Box, yeah, both.
Fascinating. Well, box is box. Yeah,
You are fascinating.
I almost texted you an hour ago to just be like, dude, I am out of all energy.
Wow.
My wife just took out the trash because I was just like worthless. I was just like 7:30. I'm like, I'm done.
She took out the trash because feminism.
Yeah.
Hashtag take out the trash.
Well, I've had a domino effect of events because Friday was my cousin's rehearsal dinner for the wedding that I was in.
Okay.
My cousin Michael, awesome dude. He was in my wedding. I was in his. It was great. He's the guy who's the bachelor party in Vegas.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that story from a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Just go download our entire back.
Yeah, go
catalog.
listen to it.
If you haven't heard it,
If you've missed anything, you've missed everything.
that's true. So anyway, yeah, there was alcohol served. Yeah, I went. Gina said, like your new hairdo, Cody. I didn't do my hair today because I forgot we were doing the
It's
show tonight.
obvious. I texted you early this morning.
You did. Early this morning?
10-ish?
Let's check the tapes.
It was before noon.
Brian texted me at
11?
11:16 a.m.
All right.
All right.
That's 9.5 hours before.
In my defense, I was still at the gym, so I was multitasking.
Look at you, Mr. Getting Swole.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was flying solo because babysitting is impossible. So my wife had the kids, so and there was imbibing at the rehearsal dinner, and I well, here's what happened. There's a domino
Was the wedding
effect.
in town or out of town?
It was kinda.
Boy, that is vague. Is this a CIA wedding?
The
What does
rehearsal
your cousin do?
The rehearsal was my cousin's apartment building downtown in River North in Chicago.
All right.
The wedding was in Lamont.
Okay.
Or near Lamont, somewhere in that area.
Got it.
So I was downtown. Anyway, I didn't get a ton of sleep that night. Obviously, I didn't get a ton of sleep the wedding night because that was a big party. And then last night I was playing Zelda till like 1:30 in the morning. And all of these mornings that I was home and there were children around, they woke up early. Like I was up at 5 in the morning after the rehearsal dinner. I was up at 6 this morning. So yeah, it's just
Do you not have a spouse who could help you out on mornings like that?
She does all the work. I was just laying there, but this morning my daughter decided to just scream scream singing. Like I woke up to her going like ba 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 ah ba 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 ah.
Is
Like,
your daughter Danzig?
Over and over for like 20 minutes. And I'm like I'm like, maybe she'll stop. Maybe my wife will give her a pacifier. Maybe she's about to eat. No, she was just doing it. So finally I roll over and I'm like, wow, she's awake. My wife was like, she sure is. And then my son came in the room. So we were done. So anyway,
he's got, I would imagine when he makes an appearance, he's more prepared for his life than we are for the show. He comes in with an agenda.
Oh yeah.
He's got stuff to say. He's got things he's got to cover, toys he's got to play with, and stories that need to be told.
Yes. Yes. So that's my very long-winded way of saying I was sleepy. I almost texted you an hour ago to be like, I don't know how much energy I have. So we'll see if I can make it through the whole show. So that's why I asked if like it was a day like that for you, because it would have been funny if I texted you and you'd been like, man, it's been a day for me too. We're done. But you just happened to take a short nap. Like it wasn't like you've been exhausted for 2 days.
I'm going to tell you a secret, Cody. I am always tired. There is never a moment, and I wish I was joking. I wish I was being hyperbolic. There is never a moment in my life where I'm not tired. I know I have sleep apnea because I wake up sometimes more tired than when I went to bed.
Wow.
I don't know what goes on in that bed when we're sleeping. I have no idea what I'm up to. I don't know why your camera froze all of a sudden. Now it's back, but I never wake up and go, man, I'm ready to greet the day. Let's get on with it. Never. I always wake up, my eyes open, I go, and then I drag it out and we get going.
Try some, but you sleep well, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I must not. How can I sleep well and still be exhausted?
I don't know.
Mike says CPAP does wonders. I may have to get, but I don't want to go do a sleep study where they stare at you all night like you're a lab rat and they got things tied onto you, because God only knows what I do when I'm asleep. I barely like what I do when I'm awake. I don't want some guys peeping at me all night going, look at that. Look at him sleep. Oh.
You could try some sleep aids like ZMA or ashwagandha.
English, Cody. This is an English-only podcast.
ZMA is zinc, magnesium, something that starts with A. And apparently the combination, like I've taken magnesium supplements before bed and slept really well.
Really?
But yeah, and I guess ZMA, like it all potentiates and whatever complements each other, and it's supposed to do wonders for sleep. Ashwagandha is like a very popular, it's like a root extract. It's very, very popular in India. They use it for lots of medicine. I get it does a bunch of different things.
I've always seen a lot of alert Indian people, so maybe that's it.
It's supposed to, so I guess it suppresses the creation of some stress hormone. I don't remember. But it also,
every hormone is a stress hormone.
I don't remember, but it helps you sleep better. I actually have taken it on and off the last couple of months, and when I do, typically I'm zonked as soon as I hit the pillow.
There is there's been some study. I did that. I didn't realize I was mirroring. I did this study or read this study that says it should take you X amount of time to fall asleep. Let's say 10 minutes to fall asleep. And if you fall asleep immediately, it shows that you don't get enough sleep. I fall asleep anywhere at the drop of a hat. It doesn't matter. There's days I come home and I sit down at the computer and next thing I know, my head is snapping. Like, remember when you were in school? Well, you probably didn't fall asleep in class.
I absolutely did.
And your head and your neck, it feels like your head's popping off. I could do that sitting right here.
Wow.
There is not, it's a Herculean effort that when we sit down at night, like after dinner and doing all the stuff, and we're going to sit down and maybe watch a show, a Herculean effort not to fall asleep immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm going to try some magnesium and some arthroscopic, whatever you said, some Indian herb.
Ashwagandha.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Is it spelled like it sounds?
It's spelled ASH.
Oh, see, I was already wrong.
Yeah. So Ash, I think it's WAGANDHA. I think.
Wow. I'm going to look. That's a lot of letters.
Yeah. So there's a website, examine.com. Examine it's run by a bunch of scientists and they only post peer-reviewed research studies on supplements.
Okay.
So you can look up anything. You can look up creatine, ZMA, probably ashwagandha, zinc, whatever, and you can see like, does it actually affect performance, and like what are the things it has been studied to affect. And ashwagandha, there's a lot of research on it. So like many studies will corroborate, it's like if you take it for a long period of time, it can improve sexual health. I think.
Hey, now wait, repeat that part.
I think particularly in women, but I don't remember. That's part of it. It can improve sleep. It can improve blood sugar regulation, and I think blood pressure. But again, it suppresses something in the brain that I don't remember. That maybe like some people are like, maybe you shouldn't take it. Yeah, like anything you put in your body, like right, it can do weird things. So like careful. I'm not endorsing it. This is not a science communicator lesson. It's just like I read about it and I'm like, I'll have this once in a while.
You're just trying to give me something that perhaps I'll drift off and that'll be it. And then if you're sleepy on a Monday night, you don't have to worry about doing the show.
I've got like 100. I can give you some if you want. I don't know. You can
get I mean, Amazon. I got, you know, I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's because I, you know, probably stop breathing. Who knows? I saw some app last night that tracks all kind of stuff too. And I'm like, how is an app tracking what I do during my sleep? You know, I don't know. I got to hook myself up to something. Forget about it.
I hate my hair right
now. Yeah, your hair's crazy today.
Utterly untenable.
It is unkempt. It is not.
Not cool.
It's not the usual Cody Gough.
That's stupid.
Cindy asked if I got a haircut a week ago. I had it last week.
How was
Shortened it up. Yeah. I don't know. How do you break up with your stylist or your barber?
You stop going. They don't call you.
No, I call them. But then, like you got somebody new at that shop. I'd have to find a whole new shop. I can't go back to a different person at that shop.
Oh, I did that one time. I switched stylists. When I went to, well, I had an excuse. She wanted maternity leave.
Okay, see, that makes sense.
And then when she got back, I just kind of. Well, actually, I went to her like twice, and then I think she quit. I don't know what happened to her, but I don't know. I don't know. How big's the place? So check the schedule. Can you check the schedule online? Sometimes you can see when they're in, and then you can just book when they're not in.
But I'd have to. I also might want to find someplace a little closer. You know, I'm going all the way over to your house.
That's true. But you can always swing by.
I think about it all the time, but then I don't want to be that guy who just drops by. Or calls and goes, hey, I'm down the street.
I don't have any friends out here.
You're suburban dad.
I don't have.
Would you like walking to the park and hang out with the other park dads, or you know the divorced dads who are at McDonald's picking up their kids? You don't have any of those kind of guys that you hang out with?
Brian,
guys who tuck their polo shirts into their pants.
I've literally not a single friend within 25 minutes of me. You would be. I dream of a life where people text or call me and say, hey, I'm nearby. Can I stop by?
Oh, see, and I thought it would be the exact opposite. That's why I never do. I always think about it because actually when I'm leaving your town, I drive right by the school that's near your house. Yeah. I'm at the end of your block. Oh, I'm like, oh, there's Cody's house. Literally. Oh, there's Cody's house. But do I call? No, because I don't want to be that guy who just goes, hey, guess what? I'm here.
Hit me up, please. Desperately, I need to socialize with people.
Well, I enjoy seeing your children as well.
Yeah.
But I also know I have to bring my own water or whatever. So if I don't have any beverages in the car, it makes it hard to stop.
Yeah. And ice.
I got to bring everything. So a cold cut sandwich. I don't know why it'd be a cold cut sandwich, but maybe I bring some, as Mike said, maybe I bring some eggs and toast, win over the kids.
Eggs and toast.
Eggs and toast. Love it. So that's where I'm at. And all right, so wait, you were talking about the wedding and being tired. Were you officiating this wedding, or were you just standing up in the wedding?
No, the bride's brother officiated, one of the bride's
Okay,
brothers. So, which is fine. I'll give him a pass. No, it was great. I won't like go into full-fledged detail. I mean, a wedding is a wedding, but it was
sure, sure.
beautiful. It was outside. It was very
Oh,
big,
that's
couple hundred
nice.
people.
Wow.
Saw some out of town family. It was great. But uh, the welcome dinner slash rehearsal dinner thing. I had a few drinks. I don't really drink much anymore at all, and I got the hiccups.
Oh
Have we been over me getting the hiccups on this show?
no, I don't remember ever hearing about your hiccups,
When
but
I
now
get
I'm guessing they're fantastic.
they are excruciating.
No, why?
It's actually one of the most painful things that I experience in my adult life.
What?
When I get the hiccups, my entire like body convulses and my chest caves in, and it literally feels like someone is hitting me in the chest with a sledgehammer
Good Lord.
with every hiccup.
That sounds ridiculously horrible.
Dude, after Iditarod, I got the hiccups, and I got to the metro 5 minutes late, so it wasn't there. So I'm standing at the metro station with the hiccups. They were so bad. After 10 minutes, I called an Uber and went back to Lombard. I
Wow.
spent like $60 on an Uber just to get home. And I had the hiccups the whole way, and I was drunk, but I was mostly the hiccups. I wasn't gonna get sick, and I kept telling the driver, I'm like, I'm so miserable. I'm so sorry. I have the hiccups. They hurt so much. Like, I'm not gonna throw up. I'm not sick. I'm just like, and he's like, oh, you try this, try holding your breath, try blah blah blah, and it's nothing worked. Um, so uh the on Friday when I got the hiccups, I knew what would cure it. So I turned to one of the other guys. I think he was in the wedding or one of his friends, and I knew he had a vape pen because he kept pulling it out. And I was like, "Please,
During
can
the
I?"
ceremony?
No, this was like at the rehearsal thing,
Okay.
and I'm like, "Please let me have your vape," because I got like 10 hiccups and it just hurts so bad. And I'm like, "I'm not going through this." So I just grabbed his pen. I took the biggest pull I possibly could, and I just, I'm like, "Oh," and I was like, and the hiccups immediately went away.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, oh, dude, it's like kick starts your lungs. But then I was drunk and very high, very high. So then I had to get home. Thank God one of his friends was coming out this way. So he dropped me off actually at my house.
Oh God.
Or no, he dropped me off at the metro and then got me on the metro, but that was good. Um,
Do you know why? Most people get the hiccups. It's not life threatening. Do you know what's causing that? Have you ever looked into it? Have you had medical attention for this? Or you just pray every day that you don't get the hiccups?
it just started the last few years. I don't get them often. It's only when I drink a certain amount. And I don't drink often. So I'll ask my doctor next time I see him.
Yeah, I would bring
Um,
that up.
Yeah,
Sounds awful.
but so, I get home and that was, my Friday night, I go to sleep somewhat tipsy slash buzzed and very high, and then woke up
Very
at
high.
5 a.m. with the kids, and then had to go to the wedding venue at noon and then be there all day
Oh,
through the reception.
oh
It went to like
God.
2. Then we were up early Sunday to get you to go back to get the kids, and then yeah. So I'm
Oh,
running low. I'm just on adrenaline fumes at this
zoinks.
point. Yeah.
And then yesterday was Father's Day. Did you celebrate at all?
My dad stopped. My parents both stopped by after the wedding,
Okay.
to see my kids. I forgot to even tell them Happy Father's Day.
That's nice of you.
I feel like a horrible human being. He told me Happy Father's Day on the way out, and I was like, "Oh my God." And I like my dad. I love my dad.
Yeah.
Like
What's
he's
not to
like
love?
he's one of my top 2 favorite people in the world besides my mom. Like I felt so bad. And he just walked out and I was just like, I have nothing in the tank. Like, and my wife, like, to her credit, she was like, we'll do a Father's Day thing like later that next week because I just don't have anything. Like, we just have been running. We have 2 kids,
Yeah, I
Like,
get
we're
it.
just,
You said to
we're
your
just,
parents who had 4 kids and were like, "Yeah, and?"
I know, of course, yeah, no, we just had nothing. We did just nothing actually yesterday. 2 of my wife's friends were in town and they stopped by and I grilled. So I
Oh,
grilled.
nice.
That was kind of Father's Day-ish, right? What did
Sure,
you
yeah,
do?
working the grill.
What did you do? You
I didn't do
typically hate this day.
I do. Well, it's everything was going well and then it fell apart. And I almost ruined it, but I salvaged it.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I knew like On Mother's Day, if you recall, I was out staying at my mom's for the eye drop marathon. So Molly came
Yeah.
with Debbie in the morning and they spent the whole morning together. And then, Molly, then they came out and we celebrated out at my mom's house. So I was like, I don't know why I was under the assumption that Molly was going to come over early and want to spend the entire day with me, which doesn't sound nice at all for her. But she, so Debbie, they had been asking, what do you want to do for Father's Day? So like, really nothing. You know what I want to do? I want to sit on the deck. So like Saturday, I worked really hard to get the yard all ready. The yard was all done. Everything looked great. I was like, oh, I said, Sunday, I want to sit on the deck in the afternoon. I want to make some drinks and maybe we can play some games and I'll smoke a cigar and that'll be that. And Molly was like, well, where do you want us to go to dinner? I said, no, I don't want to go out to dinner. That's the last thing I want to do is go out to dinner. I said, I'll be happy to cook. They're like, no, we'll bring something in. Okay. Then it's up to me. Well, what do you want? I go, at some point you have to wonder that why aren't they listening to me? They just don't get it. And I'm like, I don't care. So finally I said to Debbie, because she was asking me, Friday we were at my mom's and it was a very, very stressful day where I was physically ill when we came home.
Oh.
And Debbie starts asking me about Father's Day. And I'm like, please, this is not the time. All I want to do now is sit in the chair and hopefully fall asleep. But I said, all right, here's the deal. She was like, well, I can get barbecue. And to bring barbecue, I would rather, to be honest, 90% of what I barbecue is as good as what she would bring in. Plus, she would have to drive like a half hour each way to pick up barbecue. And I was like, that's silly. I don't want you to do that. I said, how about either Lou Malnati's or there's an Italian place right down the street that's really good. We've ordered from there a lot. It's really good. I said, either one of those is fantastic. That's perfect. Molly will come over. I said, if Molly's coming over in the morning, she can bring some of those. I forget where she goes for this fancy donut place.
Stands?
Not Stands. I want to say Do Right, but it's not Do Right because that's closed.
Dunkin' Donuts.
No, but funny you should say that. A couple Dunkin' Donuts did end up at the house because I said, if Molly's coming early, she could bring a couple of those donuts. And Debbie's like, oh, she's not coming till the afternoon. I said, okay, I don't want you going to get them. Because again, it's somewhere downtown near Molly's house. It's like 25 minutes each way. I'm like, I don't want you getting up early and going to get donuts. So don't do it. So Saturday night, I was going out to see some friends of mine, Jimmy Pardo, who hosts Never Not Funny, one of the greatest podcasts in the history of podcasts. No offense to award-winning podcaster Cody Gough. But Jimmy comes in from California once a year, and he always calls way ahead of time, and he goes, this is when I'm coming in. When are you free?
Nice.
And so we set up a meet, and then CB, one of the Insatiable Insomniacs, the three of us get together. So I was going out, and she goes, well, what time are you leaving? I said, probably, I don't know, around 6 o'clock. Okay, well, I think I'm going to go shopping. I think I'm going to go out to the outlet malls in Aurora. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, I'm probably not going to go till around 5. And I'm like, 5 o'clock, you're going to drive out to Aurora? I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do. I'm not stupid. There was not a chance she was driving out to Aurora at 5 o'clock on a Saturday night. Not a chance. So I get home about 11 o'clock Saturday night, and she's sitting there watching some TV. I go, how was your shopping trip? I didn't find anything. I go, is that because you didn't go? Well, I go, you didn't go to Aurora. Well, I just wanted to drive around for a while. Like, is that right? You just wanted to drive around for a while. Well, I just shut up.
No, why did you have to grill her when you
That's
knew
what she said. Why are you grilling me? Just leave me alone. And then I was like, oh, did you have to go meet your boyfriend? Yeah, that's what I do. So I know. I can't, I'm not a good human being.
Yeah.
So I got up, and Debbie had gone to Dunkin' Donuts and brought home a half dozen donuts from Dunkin'. And we had a breakfast sandwich from Panera. And then I did laundry and we did some stuff around the house. And at about 3, I was like, all right, everything's done. I made some Mai Tais for she and I. And we went and we sat out on the deck and I was smoking a cigar and we were listening to some music. And then Molly came by and we played a couple games of Scrabble and it was great. Everything's Molly had gone and picked out a few different kinds of beers. She claims she did it all by herself. So she got me some boat shoes from Beguile and beer for lounging from Off Color, and something I thought of you. It's a coffee and toffee, or a coffee and caramel stout from Phase 3.
Ooh.
And that 2 cans of that and 2 cans of some sort of milk stout from Pollyanna. And she and I, a ticket on the barrel run to take the tour in the bus that's shaped like a barrel and drive around. Yeah, it was very nice. And Debbie got me a Weber cookbook and a big new grill scraping wood thing, because you're not supposed to use wire bristles anymore.
What?
You're not supposed to use brushes with wire bristles because they stay on the grill. Sometimes they get in your food and you can die. So that's the thing. If you have a wire bristle brush, get rid of it. So this looks like a big fraternity paddle. And it's wooden. I've seen it online. You're supposed to, once the grill gets hot, you push it and then it like burns enough to form to your grill. So you're like, all the gunk's coming off. I don't know. I'll let you know when I use it.
Yeah, please do.
But yeah, stay away from that. So it was nice. But then they got the order wrong at the Italian place, and I got a little upset. And but then everything was fine.
All right.
It was nice. It was very
sounds idyllic. It sounds like a great Father's Day.
It was a very good Father's Day. It was a very good Father's Day.
Yeah.
So
I was happy I grilled. I like burgers. So I was also happy ultimately, but not as much of a.
No, see, I would have loved that too. I would have, like I said, I don't mind grilling or smoking on Father's Day. You know, I would have made something, but they wanted it's because I make dinner most of the time. So they wanted, so I don't have to make dinner, I guess.
Usually one of us exchanges, you usually do it first. You're good at this stuff. Usually I get a happy Father's Day text from you.
Oh, shoot. I forgot.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like, my whole household, the whole aura was just everyone's dead, like just dead. My wife apologized like 6 times. She's just like, I did not do anything, but something will happen. I'm like, this doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Actually, see, fathers believe that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You know, if Molly had just brought me a 6-pack or nothing, that would have been fine. Just sitting out there playing Scrabble, because we got very competitive. I don't think we played Scrabble as a family before.
Wow.
Yeah. Molly won the first game. Then I dominated the second game.
Wow.
Yeah. She kept every time I saw my next word, there was going to be big points. She used some of the letters for a little point word. I was like, oh, you son of a. She said, it's Father's Day, Molly. Let me win. Dude. One in particular, I had a 60-point word ready to go. A 60-pointer. And she dropped 2 letters on there and got an 8-point word. Oh, so sad. But other than that, what are you going to do?
We got to have you guys over to play Scrabble sometime.
Well, come on. Your wife's got a vocabulary. It's, you know, we're putting down it and tits and stuff like that. You know? She's going to drop some big Spanish words on us.
We could be, well, that's not legal in Scrabble tournament play, I don't believe. We can work with it.
According to the box, it is.
Really?
Words of foreign origin.
I think that's.
I don't know. We also have to decide on a dictionary to use before we get started. Okay. I may invest in a Scrabble dictionary.
Okay.
Just for, Molly throwing some words around.
Okay.
Then I forgot how to spell ox. I was very upset. For some reason, I thought it had an E. And I was like, oh, I know. That's the same look they gave me. And then Molly was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And then she had an O and she dropped it on there.
That's unbelievable on so many levels.
Trust me. I don't know. I had made a very strong Mai Tai. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. And I always get a little buzzed when I smoke a cigar, even though it's just a regular cigar. It's not a blunt. So cup that in with a Mai Tai with 4 ounces of rum in it. And,
Yeah.
Things are good.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That will do it. That will do it. So, man. Yeah.
I might have a thing for Father's Day, maybe. All right, so CM Punk is back in WWE, or no, in AEW.
AWA.
AEW.
Is it AWA? AEW?
AEW. All Elite Wrestling.
All right, got it.
All right, so CM Punk, there was some drama backstage a year ago. I'll tell you how this ties into Father's Day.
Now, is this a year ago? Would that be Ice Cream Bar Day for those of you who may remember Cody talking about CM Punk before?
No, that was like 2 years ago. So he came back to wrestling after a 7-year absence, and it was a huge thing for AEW because he's like the biggest star in wrestling, basically. And he shows up in AEW, and I was there when he came back.
Yes.
And it was a big deal. And then he wrestled there for a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. He got injured. It sucks. Came back. Got injured again, went on this press conference, tore into a bunch of coworkers. Supposedly there was a physical fight backstage. A bunch of people got suspended, and he tore his tricep, like totally.
Yikes.
So he disappeared 9 months ago. Just disappeared. He's just no longer wrestling again. And people are like, well, the way he acted in the press conference and the altercation, like he's done, right? He came back, he did the wrestling thing for a bit, and now he's just like done with it again. Well, no. So all these rumors come out that that AEW is gonna make the second show. So they have Wednesday night Dynamite, and then they're gonna announce Saturday night Collision. AEW
right
Collision.
On.
All these rumors are flying, and it'll be Punk and blah blah blah. So they announced the show, then they announced where the show is gonna be in the 6 live shows. Then they announced the debut episode will be in Chicago, and we have another announcement next week. And hey, guess what? Who's gonna headline it? It's CM Punk. So he's coming back, right?
Right.
Okay. Here's how this relates to me, which is the most important thing, Brian.
Yes, I understand that.
When I drove to Kansas City with my wife to see my in-laws like 2 months ago, we drove overnight and we arrived, and I hadn't slept in 24 hours.
I'm sensing a theme.
I laid down, and my friend texts me, Punk is coming back on June 17th, which is accurate. That was 2 days ago.
Correct.
At the same time, I pull up my phone and I go, I should get tickets. And tickets for AEW Dynamite are on sale in Chicago for June 21st, which is not Wednesday. June 17th.
Not at all.
That is a different day of the week. It is, in fact, an entirely different day of the calendar month.
Yeah, none of the numbers are similar.
And I just bought tickets
for the wrong day,
like an idiot. Like, and I'm texting my friend. I'm like, "You want in on this? You want in?" They got him on my cart, and he texts me 10 minutes later after I check out. He goes, "You dumbass! Scroll up 2 texts. I said June 17th, and I look, and I'm like, oh." So these are not cheap seats. I knew my wife wasn't going to want to go and do the babysitting and all that. So I listed them on Ticketmaster, but they haven't sold.
Oh no.
And they were a lot of money, but my wife teaches yoga Wednesday. It's her last class of the summer, for the summer. So I would have to get her to find a sub. And then anyway, I don't know what's going to happen to these tickets, but they were expensive.
When you say expensive, like
$300.
How much?
Like $300 for the pair.
$300 for the pair.
Yeah, for the pair.
All right, that is a lot of money.
It was like $70 plus fees. I'm not even kidding. You know how they are.
Almost double, more than double.
It's garbage. And I listed them at below like list value because I'm like, yeah, I'll eat $20 or whatever for
sure.
Whatever. I'll lower it again, but like I don't know if tomorrow rolls around. Like
now, can you take your son?
I'm not gonna know.
Okay, carry the baby in like a backpack.
He'd be terrified of the fireworks and the pyro and all that. Are you kidding?
Maybe not. Maybe he'd start swearing and throwing his cups at the thing, and he'd bring trains and trucks to pelt the wrestlers with.
No. What are you doing Wednesday? Are you working?
Yes, I am. Unfortunately. I know. Sorry. I saw people too. I thought about you because I did Saturday. What was I? I got home and I was scrolling through Twitter to see, what state the country is in. And there was a video from somebody who was at AEW, and they were chanting, everybody in the crowd was chanting CM Punk. And then he was introduced and there was that big pop when he walked out. It's like, So yes, I saw that he was there.
Let me ask you this. So what's the etiquette around asking people, are you interested in going to a show with me if I can't sell the tickets?
Meaning? Oh, like are they supposed to pay?
Well, no, no. Like, is it impolite if I'm like, hey, Brian, do you want to see a show with me Wednesday if I don't sell the tickets? Like, wouldn't you be like, what the hell, man? What do you, what?
No,
like, what?
I mean, if you're like, I bought these tickets and I don't think I can go, but if I don't sell them, you want to go with me? I think that's fine. Guys aren't going to care, If I was a chick, maybe. Oh wow, that's going to get me in trouble. That'll get me canceled. But no, if you said I'm trying to sell these tickets, but if I don't, rather than eat them, I want to go. Do you want to go? And I go, how much are they? And you go, oh, you'd either tell me the price, you'd go, forget, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I would eat the cost like you did with the Stones.
Yeah, you just buy me a couple beers, okay?
Yeah.
Let me know.
Craig.
Craig.
I would actually love to go with Craig, but I know he's far away from Chicago. But Craig, if you're in town, if you want to come Wednesday, oh wait, no, your radio show's too late. No, it gets because the live show of Dynamite is 7 to 9 p.m. So he wouldn't be able to do his show and get back.
Maybe you come up and do it from your podcast closet.
Oh my dude, I did not. Oh, dude. Craig, come here. I got a Shure SM7B. I've got a cloud lifter. I've got a DBX preamp. Like, I'm wired. You could do your show from my closet while I work at the computer next to you. And then as soon as you're off the air, we can take an Uber down to the Wintrust Arena by McCormick Place. There's just a flawless plan that couldn't possibly go wrong in any way.
No, everything in this plan sounds 100%. Unless you sell the tickets, and then suddenly you got Craig in your closet and no show to go to. And he's like, I drove up here to go to a show, and you sold the tickets, and I just broadcast from your closet.
Dude, I've been on his show from this closet. Clean feed. There's some good technology out there.
I've been on his show from this room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, there you go. That's it. So Craig just sitting there waiting. And, at this point, now his show ends at 6. It's 5:30. He thinks, all right, I got a half hour. Then I'm going to go see some wrestling. And at 5:55, you sell the tickets. And suddenly Craig comes out. All right, let's go. And he's changed into a singlet, and he's got a fake belt on, and he's got his CM Punk T-shirt, and he's ready to go. And you go, oh yeah, I just sold those for under face value. So you took a loss. You took a loss just so you wouldn't have to go. And there's Craig. Just all forlorn in your closet.
But I have a title belt that I could just give him.
I see that. What'd you win that belt for?
This was at a thrift store for $2, but I won it for winning the championship.
Which championship?
I beat the
Intercontinental?
Guy. No, this is the World Heavyweight Championship. Originally was the WCW title, but this is the WWE version where they replaced the logo on the top.
Holy cow.
It's $2. There's a dude giving, I think it looks like a German suplex on one side and then actually on both sides. Don't know what that is. Maybe it's a hip toss. No.
That looks fun.
I don't know what that is. Huh. I'll have to Google it later.
No, Marta, Craig wouldn't wear that when he's broadcasting. He's a professional. He'd change into his wrestling he'd change into his wrestling clothes later.
That's the thing, is that if I did sell the tickets, that would be a tremendous final segment. He could just throw me under the bus for the last 20 minutes of the show, and it would be hilarious.
You wouldn't interrupt him. You'd wait because you'd be like, I don't want to ruin his show. So you would wait till he got off the air. Like a kid on Christmas, he'd get off the air, he'd come out of the broadcast closet, eyes wide, ready to go, and then you'd crush his dreams.
I'm really glad we're fantasy booking my Father's Day present / Craig's radio show on Wednesday.
Listen, it's what producers do. I don't have a producer. I don't think, and I know Craig doesn't have a producer, but you guys both were producers, so you
I've never had a
understand. And I've
producer.
worked with producers, so I understand how it works. You got to think ahead. Got to think ahead of time.
Plan A and plan B. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I think, if you can't sell them, it's only Monday. Craig can still, he can fake a hip injury or something and say he's got to do the show from home to his bosses.
A hip injury.
A hip injury.
Why? That's oddly specific.
Right. That's the more specific, the better.
Mm.
Then that's the kind of lie that's not going to be checked. If he just went, I'm feeling a little under the weather. That's no, but I have a hip injury. Because then you can always limp into work on Thursday. A limp is easy.
Man.
So, he hasn't commented. He's probably packing his car.
Probably
on his way.
He was like, you and him were the first people I thought of, but obviously I was like, he's off the list because he's too far. But now that I realize I have an actual professional broadcast setup in my home, which is the whole point of broadcasting. It's like you can show up at halftime. I mean, yeah, there's no
wrestling
halftime.
as a halftime.
It's a 2-hour live show from 7 to 9, and then from 9 to 10 they tape Rampage, which airs on Friday. So it's technically 3 hours of televised. So 2 hours live TV, 1 hour taped TV, and there are dark matches before that. So if you go, you could get 4 hours of wrestling if you want.
No, I think he should. It'd be like Ferris Bueller. Craig would say he had a hip injury and he had to do the show from home. And then for some reason, his boss would be watching AEW and they'd cut to you guys live in the audience and Craig would be dancing around. Woohoo! And then all of a sudden his story is blown.
John Moxley comes out through the crowd. So he'd probably just walk right in front of us.
Yeah, right by. And he'd lift up Craig or Craig would high five him and hip toss him.
Like slap the popcorn out of our hands or something. And then both of us just looking like, what happened? Oh, that was cool. We're on telly.
We're on telly.
We're on telly.
Wow. You're like BritBox.
Who's that?
It's a service that Debbie asked me about today. Do we have BritBox? I was like, I don't think so. I looked it up. It's $80 a year to have BritBox. We don't have BritBox.
Well, Britt Baker is the former AEW Women's Champion.
Is she really?
Yeah, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Wow. What's a DMD for?
She's a dentist. She's an actual dentist who owns a clinic and practices being a dentist in Florida. She has a dental practice. And
of course it's in Florida.
And
sure.
was also AEW Women's Champion for like a year.
Wow.
Impressive person.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of female wrestlers, did you see ODB got married over the weekend?
I don't know what that stands for. Old Dirty Bastard?
Old Dirty Bihot. He was a big deal in WWE, I think.
Who?
ODB or WCW or something. Yeah. Female wrestler. No, now she's all right. Let's see. Okay, I will go and broadcast from your show under one condition. We go see a real sport the following weekend. Oh, wow.
I forgot he doesn't think that wrestling is real, even though it's the most real thing on the planet. That's right.
Wrong guy.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, it was a plan.
Yeah. I could bring my kid if I brought ear protection the way I now wear ear protection when I change my daughter's diaper.
Nice segue, Cody.
Thank you.
That was one of the topics you teased at the beginning. Why do you have to wear you wear earplugs but not like a face shield? Well, I guess you'd wear a face shield with your son. But not with your daughter.
No, I was changing her the other day. I got her outfit off and took her diaper off and gave her a fresh diaper. And then before I even put an outfit on, picked her up, put her in a crib, calmly walked downstairs, went in the garage, got my 3M ear protection that I wear when I use the lawnmower or the leaf blower, went upstairs, picked her up and actually got her dressed while wearing the ear protection. She cries so loud, it actually physically feels like it's going to damage my hearing. Parents in the chat, please comment if you feel this has happened to you or you were at risk of it or you ever...
If you were at risk of it.
Or did you suffer tinnitus at the hands of your children? Are your children's lungs overdeveloped at an early age and they screamed like unchained banshees? If so, you may have a class action suit.
Dude, I'm not even exaggerating. It is physically painful, and it rings, and I'm like, I'm going to have hearing damage, not just like it was just loud or annoying. It's damaging my hearing. So I now have ear protection in my daughter's nursery. She is 6.5 months old. Commenters, please
Wait
jump
a
in.
minute.
Back me up. I think this is valid. I think this is a
Is
thing
she
that
one of the,
more
like? Is she a Dementor?
Brian, this babe, when she is not happy, the whole neighborhood can hear it. It is unreal.
Maybe you try. Maybe you work harder to make her happy.
I work very hard to do that.
But she's not happy.
I think I need to bring her to more wrestling events.
Just it doesn't sound like she'd be bothered by it. Wait a minute. So she just starts to scream, or is it crying? Is
That's
it
when she cries.
wailing? Is she cries? But she
Yeah, I
cries
mean,
loud.
And it's not every time she cries. Like she cries. She does like cry sometimes where it's like, I'm hungry, whatever.
Sure,
But
yeah.
like if she wakes up from a nap and she just pooped a bunch, which means her tummy's empty and she's really hungry, it's like you think she's being murdered. Like it's brutally loud, and it's like you're actually scared for her safety, but she's just hungry. She's just hungry, dude.
For her
I
safety.
swear to God, like it's.
Can you install like a gerbil bottle in her crib? So she never has to feel that sort of terror that she's not going to be fed again.
I
She
might.
wakes
I
up and
might.
goes, what if that was the last one?
Dude,
Oh no, now I'm stewing in my own juice.
thank you for the backup in the chat. Marta says, yes, this is valid. Sandy says, yes, my son was a very loud crier. Gina says, does your son cheer her up? He does. He'll actually go in there and be like, it's okay. And she loves him and she'll laugh.
nice.
And it's so cute. So that's helpful. And like, I'm trying to comfort her and stuff, but I'm telling you, man, like, and when I took her out of the bath tonight, gave her a bath. After her bath, she is starving because like just your calories burn or whatever when you shiver and stuff. And it's just when you get taken out of the water, you're hungry. She was already a little hungry before the bath. Put her in the bath. She's happy as a clam, playing around, laughing, like chewing on the little washcloth thing, having a great time. Pull her out, put her down, time for some clothes. And it's like, I'm going to go nuclear on you until I get my bottle. And you got to put clothes on her before you put the bottle there. So
I don't know. Kid wants to eat naked. Feed her.
I don't know, man.
Just throw a blanket over her. It's like have one of those marathon aluminum foil blankets. Just wrap her up, shove the bottle in her mouth till she settles down, then get her dressed.
So you never experienced this as a parent?
If I did, Cody, I blocked it out. All that kind of stuff, I've blocked out. I do remember there was one period where Molly cried nonstop. I think it was, what do they call? I want to say the croup, but it's not the croup.
Colicky?
Colicky. She was colicky.
Ooh.
And she just, it was horrible. But I left. No, it was like we tried everything. I put her down, the car seat down on the dryer. I would drive her around for an hour just in the car because sometimes that would put her to sleep. And she just screamed bloody murder nonstop for a couple of weeks.
Ooh.
And it was like, oh, you are gonna be the death of me. And I still some days feel that way. But yeah, it was, oh God, it was horrible. But that's, other than that, I know she cried. I'm sure she cried. I don't know. I don't remember. She thinks, we had this conversation because she's talked to Debbie. She thinks I'm losing my mind because I don't remember certain things. And I had to explain to her yesterday, I go, it's not that I don't remember certain things. It's that I don't listen and I don't care about certain things. And so, I got a lot going on in my dome, and minuscule details of things, I don't care to remember them. I said, I know when your birthday is. I know where you live. I remember all the big things in your life. I'm sorry I don't remember if you like tiki drinks or not. Well, you've asked me that before. Okay, yeah, I did. So she made a new rule yesterday. She told me I can no longer ask questions that I've already asked before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a rule that I don't, you can't dictate things to me. Well, I'm going to get very upset then if you do. I said, okay. Well, get used to being very upset.
If she thinks the year bad, she should just talk to me. When you came over it was around our birthday, because her birthdays are the same time.
April, right?
It was like the first or second weekend in April. And my wife was like, what kind of cake does Brian like? Because it was like birthday time.
Right.
I couldn't have told her if my life depended on it. Now, it's 2023. I started working with you in 2008. So that's
Correct.
15 years.
It's a long time.
Almost every week, 8 hours, 4 to 8 hours at least a week for 15 years. Couldn't tell you. No idea what kind of cake you like. And she's asked me a couple things before, like, Brian like this? And I'm like, for the love of my life, I have no idea. And you are good with these things. You're better than me at them when it comes to like me anyway. Typically you remember the stuff, a lot of my preferences, but a couple for you, I just.
Yeah. And Molly's changed. Like, she never used to drink beer. Well, now she's, dabbling in some sours and things like that. Carol knows my favorite cake. Thank you, Carol. And you are absolutely right. So much so, I think I brought this up on my birthday, that Deb, I don't know if she was mad at me or whatever. She decided that there was going to be no German chocolate cake for my birthday because we had it last year. So she got like the mini let them eat bundt cakes, nothing bundt cakes, the mini ones, which are fine. They're really good. And I was like, oh no, only half joking. Oh no, German chocolate cake for my birthday.
Writing that down so I remember it.
Because a couple of years ago, Molly had found what was supposedly the best German chocolate cake in the city. And it's somewhere up in, I don't know, somewhere up. I can't remember the name of the neighborhood. Not Edison Park, somewhere up that way.
Andersonville?
Anyway, and no, not as far up as Andersonville. But so Molly had gotten the cake that year, and they bought a whole cake, and they won't eat it. So, but they sell it by the slice because Debbie and Molly hate German chocolate cake because they're mistaken. And so it ties back into what I was talking about when I was interrogating Debbie about where she went on her drive around on Saturday. She had gone to that bakery to get a slice of German chocolate cake, and then she bought some other desserts for, her and Molly and me and stuff. So I did on Father's Day have a slice of German chocolate cake from, I wish I could remember the name of this place where they get it. It is unbelievable German chocolate cake.
Nice.
And I had my slice yesterday. And of course, instead of just being gracious, I was like, oh, trying to make up for my birthday because I'm a jerk. But I did thank them most thoroughly for the cake. It was phenomenal. Nice. So yes, thank you, Carol. Carol, if we had prizes, Carol, you would win something for knowing my favorite kind of cake.
Dude, she'd put that immediately. That's impressive.
I don't know how they hate German chocolate cake, Marta. They just do. Debbie doesn't like coconut. And that's a big part of the frosting. It's coconut and pecans. Yes. Coconut and pecans. Yeah, boy. Delicious. There's bad German chocolate cake, but then there's really good German chocolate cake.
Okay. All right.
And I rarely get it. So I told Molly, I said, listen, this is the new thing. Because I don't know if you remember, I used to tell her when Baker Square made candy cane pie, I said, when you put me in a home somewhere and I'm delirious and I don't know anything, on Christmas, you could just stop by and bring me a slice of candy cane pie. And I'll say, oh, wasn't that nice of that young woman to bring me a piece of pie, even if I don't know who you are. And, I'm pooping myself, whatever. I'd be so happy with the pie. So yesterday I said, listen, now that Baker Square is out of business and I know they sell just single slices, you can exchange it. Now just bring me German chocolate cake. And she's like, well, if I'm not annoyed with you. And I said, oh, so I'm never getting German chocolate cake? Is that pretty much it? Never going to get some? So yeah. But that's how that all tied in to the interrogation. Because even Molly found Debbie's excuses weak. When I told her yesterday, I go, yeah, Mom told me she was just driving around. The worst lie ever. I just wanted to drive around for a while.
Now with gas prices the way they are, it just been $75 to fill up.
In your little Subaru?
Yeah.
$75. Where are you getting gas?
It was like 4 something, and my kid goes to preschool near Naperville, and my wife was like, "Oh, don't fill up here, fill up in Naperville. I think it's cheaper." And I don't know if it was or wasn't. I haven't looked at the prices here. It
Wow.
is above 4 around me though.
It was. I try always to go to Costco or Sam's to get my
Yeah,
gas.
we don't have those
So today I
memberships.
filled up at Costco. It was $3.99. The other night I needed some gas, and I got it out in Tinley or Payless, and it was, I think, $4.30. So too much. Oh, pardon me. I got the heartburns. Got some acid reflux happening.
Stop
Stop what?
doing those.
Stop burping? Having those?
No, stop having the reflexes.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try to stop having the reflexes.
Last
right.
week was so news heavy. Did anything happen this week that I don't even know?
Coach Beard, Jack Smith, they shut down Trump. He's not able to talk to anybody about the case or talk about any of the stuff. So he's very mad. He's saying all kinds of things. I don't know. I know Secretary of State Blinken is over in China. He was supposed to meet with the Chinese President Xi today.
Hold on.
But they were wondering if he was going to get snubbed.
Secretary of State Abraham Lincoln?
Every time they say his name, I say that. I said, is that Abe Lincoln? No, it's Blinken. They say, yeah, that's what we used to call him when we were hanging around.
Did he go over there with nod?
Yes, and the pilot was winking. Okay.
That's great.
No, she only works from home a couple days. She's not here most of the time. Plus, then I'm gone or I'm not around, so she has plenty of alone time.
I'm here most of the time. I could have mowed the lawn today and I didn't because I was off work today.
Oh yeah, for Juneteenth.
For Juneteenth, as many people are.
See, I think I'm all for Juneteenth. I think white people should have to work doubles today.
Oh my God. Actually, 2 of our friends came over that were in town yesterday, and the 2 of our they're both black people. And one of them was like, honestly, it kind of pisses me off. White people get off too.
It would make sense.
I was like,
I know they couldn't do it, but I'd be like, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's what his wife said. His wife was like, oh, what are you going to do? And then he was like, well, what are you going to do if you're like biracial? You work like half day. Like, how does that work?
It's because again, that's something that I was not taught about in school.
Dude,
it's another one of those big historical things in America that nobody taught us. And it was like, wait, what?
I went to a mostly black high school and middle school and never knew about it. I went to Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School. That was my elementary school. And when they were over yesterday, they said that they were channel surfing at the hotel that they were staying at because they don't normally watch cable because no one under 50 does. And kind of true.
For news or for broadcasts?
I don't know. So they had CNN on, okay. And they and the graphic was like Juneteenth. Hold on. I wrote it to my friends because it was so funny. But it was one of those things where you read it and you're just like, that's not what this holiday is about at all. Like even a little bit. Maybe a little bit. They said the graphic said, oh, it was my other text thread with
you're on a lot of threads.
So popular.
There's an explosion.
What? Where?
I don't know. Our neighborhood started with crazy fireworks last week. A lot of people were celebrating Puerto Rican Day.
Oh, yeah.
So that was around, and then there were a ton of fireworks this weekend so far, and I'm anticipating more fireworks tonight and all the way through August.
Tonight actually makes sense because it's an actual holiday. But
or last night if people were celebrating last night. I get it.
But every June is just fireworks every weekend anyway. So.
And I don't mind. One of the dogs is deaf. Gidget can't hear him, so it doesn't bother her. Lawson gets nervous, but I don't care. I think though, the only time I get upset is when it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're still going crazy. It's like, all right, can you celebrate a little earlier or maybe end by midnight? That doesn't seem unreasonable for fireworks.
Yeah.
I guess.
The graphic on CNN said Juneteenth, a global celebration of freedom.
No.
No,
No.
That's-
Sorry.
it's
Sorry,
not-
CNN.
It's not what that is. It's not.
That
That's
is
not what
that is not as bad as the Fox Chiron when Trump got indicted. When Fox's Chiron said, "Wannabe dictator speaks at White House while trying to indict his political rival."
Did it really say that?
It did really say that. And the person who put that up got fired. So
Wait,
you
really?
know, progress. Yeah. You can Google it.
Huh.
You can googly if you want to googly.
So I mentioned that CM Punk main evented this AEW show on Saturday.
Yes.
So
How
after
does that tie in with Juneteenth?
Well, it's going to tie in with something probably.
All right, I'd love to hear it.
It's actually not Juneteenth specific, but just since you mentioned, you mentioned a stupid person at Fox putting the crazy graphic.
I did.
And I mentioned the bad. So actually, after the AEW show, after they went off the air, there's been pictures circulating online of CM Punk getting in the ring with his tag partners, and he took a sign from someone in the crowd that said "Support LGBTQ plus youth."
Okay.
And he stood in the ring and he held it up and walked around with it. CM Punk's very progressive guy politically. Yeah. Right after the whole abortion Supreme Court thing, he walked out on Dynamite with a T-shirt that said "Abortion rights are human rights," and he just stood there with it like the biggest star in the company, like his fourth week there, just like I'm gonna just be political AF. So he's very outspoken.
Yeah.
But I mentioned that the stupid part is this dude on Twitter last night, because Twitter's just the capital of
Twitter is.
This guy tweets a photo of the guy holding the sign. He goes, "This is why I don't watch AEW. Why are they shoving this down our throats on live TV? Even if you agree with him, just wrestle, entertain us. Who cares about your political view? This is wrestling, not CNN." So I replied and said, "This wasn't on live TV." I replied and said, "This wasn't on live TV. It was after the show had gone off the air, dumbass." Because I just insult people on Twitter.
You're
now.
like an educated Beavis and Butthead.
Dude, Twitter gives me now every other tweet is like, "Are you sure you want to tweet this? This probably violates our rules because it's really mean and you use profanity." And I'm always like, "Yes, don't care. Ban my account. I will gladly stop using Twitter forever." I'm not verified. I don't have a public persona anymore, really, outside of this show.
Right.
I'm not a media figure. I'm just irrelevant. I'm just some dude with 20,000 followers
who can swear.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah, it was funny because Garth Brooks came under attack this week too for the same kind of thing because he's opening a new bar in Nashville, right down the street from Kid Rock's One Tooth Inbred Saloon or whatever they call it. And Garth was like, "I'm going to serve every kind of beer in there. And if people don't like it, my place is about you come in, you feel love, you feel safe, and if you want to be an a-hole, there's plenty of places to drink on South Broadway." And oh my God, he was immediately attacked like you wouldn't believe. And then he doubled down. He was like, "No, if people want to come in and that's what they want to drink, I'm going to serve it to them. I don't care." And thankfully, one of the ultra conservative country people who also have a bar down there, I can't remember if it's Big or Rich. It's one of the two from Big and Rich, has another, "My cousin married me honky tonk." And he took Bud Light out right away and made a big thing about it. But he said, "Listen, if Garth wants to sell it, I wish him nothing but the best. Good for him. He's a businessman. He can sell whatever he wants. Nobody's asking for it in my place. So, he may see that nobody wants to buy it and that'll affect down the line, but, good for him." And I was like, all right, Big and or Rich, at least you seem like even though I disagree 100% with your politics, at least you were, okay about it.
Yeah.
You didn't come after Garth, who really, put modern country on the map, so all these other yahoos could, ply their trade.
Hmm.
So, because I like country, I used to be a huge country music guy.
Yeah.
Now it's all the same, just bros trying to get chicks with cut off shorts in their trucks. That's every song,
And
everybody's
most of my
down.
adult life.
Everybody's down at the lake or the beach, and they all want the girl in the cut off shorts to get in their truck.
Yeah,
they all sound almost like pedophiles. I got candy, you get in my truck, little girl, come on, I'll touch you out back by my dog. So that's just it's another hot take, hot country
good.
music.
That's good. Well, well, with the time we have left,
Yes.
before I fall asleep standing up,
my
that
gosh.
segues into your thing that we didn't get to last week.
Oh my God, all right.
If you after you talked about it, you almost sound like you don't want to talk about it.
No, I do. First of all, I want everybody to watch these documentaries because they're out of control. The first is Shiny Happy People, the Duggar story. Remember the Duggars from 19 Kids and Counting? All they do is mass produce children.
Yes.
First it was like 16 Kids and Counting, then 17 Kids and Counting. Then I think on the 20th one, unfortunately, she had a miscarriage, which they showed on TV. So I'm not being mean or talking out of school. They showed it on TV when she was like, "Oh, we lost the baby," blah blah blah, which is horrible. But at kid number 20, I'm surprised your uterus didn't fall out. Because let's be honest, I don't think the human body is built to expel that many children. We're not kittens.
I don't know, man. You been to Ireland?
I have been to Ireland.
Well,
yes, not too long ago.
That's what they do. Every family's got like 12 kids.
None of my cousins have 12 kid families.
Oh,
3 or 4.
Okay.
We had 5 in our family. You had 4 in your family. That's a reasonable number.
Yes.
19 is not a reasonable number. 19 is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think it's 4 parts or 6 parts. It's not very long. And they're part of this organization that's kind of a cult where everything, there's umbrellas of coverage. So God is up top, and then the husband. And the husband is the umbrella over the wife, and the wife is then the umbrella over the children. So the wives have to do everything that their husbands. They are completely subservient to the men, which that was the part I liked. But Debbie didn't care for that part. She found that part a little off-putting. So I had to keep my opinions to myself. But it's also all these guys are getting in trouble. Like the eldest Duggar is in jail for sexual assault and child pornography.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. And so were some of the leaders of the group. It's insanity. But yet people believe in it and they follow these guys. And it's like, wait, somebody needs to have, and part of it was being told by one of the Duggar girls who is cut off from the family because she dared to speak out after her brother went to jail. So that was, huh? Oh, you froze. Yeah, she's married, and so she was being interviewed for the documentary because she said if the story's going to be told, I want to tell it. I don't want somebody else telling my story. I want to tell my own story because she accused him of molesting her.
Oh,
and another sister. But then they were forced to go on TV and they did a Megyn Kelly interview where they kind of said it didn't really happen and it was horrifying. And she was like, this was just bad. And then like relatives, the dad's sister and her daughter were like, yeah, we couldn't believe it. It was crazy. So they were all in this cult and people were, again, kind of religion as a cult and people just mindlessly following. So then, of course, once that was over, we were like, we got to watch some more religious goofiness. So we watched Hillsong, a mega church uncovered or something.
Oh, no. Why would you do that?
Because, Cody, I need to prove to myself that there are people who are dumb as stumps. And all this stuff that's going on in the name of religion is ridiculous. And a lot of people who want you to give them your money when you don't really have money, just so you can buy your praise and be closer to God, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they're all, they're boning chicks and they're molesting people. And so this was the church that Justin Bieber got involved in. Hillsong started in Australia. Well, that guy got in trouble down the road for sexual. It was started by a guy. Then his son took over, and his son had went around the world and watched like Jim and Tammy Baker and all those like 80s and 90s televangelists. And his goal was for world domination for this church. And that was the same thread that went through the Duggar thing, that they wanted their people, their kids, to get into the halls of power so that this cult, this sect of people, would be in positions of power and then be able to turn the course of the country to their religious way of thinking. And it was the same line that ran through the Hillsong documentary, where it was like, we're going to take over the world. But then the main preacher in New York became like this rock star guy. He was very buff, and he was wearing the tight torn jeans. And it was like rock star church. And so celebrities started coming. And then the people who had been going were like, couldn't get in because the VIPs were there, and he was hobnobbing. Then they're showing his video text messages that he was sending to some woman in the church. And it's like, hey girl, what's up? Yeah, I thought I'd hit you up, and he's not wearing a shirt. He's driving and he's making this video and he's not wearing a shirt. Hey girl, I just, I really care about you and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, everybody knows he's married and he's got kids and he's on TV and they're raking in millions and millions and millions. And there are these Hillsong churches now popping up all over the country with these young, gregarious preachers. Meanwhile, the Hillsong preachers in like Europe are like, hey man, they want us to pay all this money for people to come and speak, and we don't have that kind of money. We're not ready. It was all about the cash. So then he got taken down for all his sexual escapades. All the celebrities fell away. The churches started closing around the country. And then the main guy in Australia gets allegations of sexual impropriety and embezzlement and stuff. And so he goes down. It's crazy. But all the time that these guys are getting brought down, the slack-jawed followers are like, well, it'll be okay. He's a good man. All right, mate. Yeah, he just took some of our money. It's all right. I'm going all over, going back to Australia. I'm here. It is unbelievable. So then I wanted to go on and watch another one, but we stopped. So because the next one is about the guy and I can't remember his name now, the Mormon guy who had all these wives, and then the FBI raided him. Warren something, not Warren Moon.
Warren G. Harding.
It was Warren G. Harding.
Yeah.
And he had a big cult of underage wives at the White House, weirdly enough. Yeah.
Not that weird.
A lot of people don't talk about it. I'm not afraid. So, yeah. So those were the documentaries. You got to watch Warren Jeff. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. Warren Jeff. So, or Jeff's, they talk to one of his, like, he married some like 12-year-old girl, and he had a big, he kept all these women prisoners, but they were quote unquote his wives, and they kept them on a compound. And then, no, not Warren Zevon, Marta. And so that's the next one. Prisoner of the Prophet, I think it's called. I can't wait.
Okay. So what are the other two documentaries? It sounds like you highly recommend them.
Shiny Happy People, the Duggar Story, and Hillsong, a mega church exposed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might do the Hillsong one. I don't know about the other one.
You got to watch it. It's crazy.
I basically only watch things with my wife, who has
me too. But thankfully, my wife has a hunger for these weird.
No, see,
docs.
there's a what's the word? Like I don't know the word. There's something that bothers her about like exploitative. Like it's really very exploitative and sordid of like some sordid real life stuff. She's just like that. Like I don't like. It's just upsetting.
It's upsetting to watch, but it's upsetting because, but it's also makes you realize how many gullible people are empty and looking for something, and
Yeah.
these con men come in. And you could, I don't know, maybe you can equate that to a former president. I don't know. These con men come in and sell them a bill of goods, and they're like, okay. And somehow they get other people to believe it. Like all these women in the Duggar cult, they all believe that they have to be, that the man is a thing. And, they're breeding these predators because they aren't allowed to they can hold hands. They aren't allowed to kiss until their wedding night. So you got all these, all these guys who are like, we got to live this right way, but maybe I could diddle her for a while and nobody will say anything. It's a whole thing. And it's very disturbing, but it is a great glimpse into how these guys make millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Fleecing the gullible and the empty and the sad.
Yeah. There's something I learned somewhere in college, maybe in a sociology class or after college, in a book.
I
or
like
something.
that you learn things.
Some point in my life, I learned a thing, and it's like society. Like there's a hypothesis somewhere out there, or a philosophy that like our modern society doesn't really provide the things that these people promise to fill, the holes that these people promise to fill. Like there's no, even with like I remember the example of like teen boys getting into gangs. And it's because like in many cultures throughout history, there were these like initiation rituals or some kind of ritual you would do to like kind of become a man. Catholic Church has confirmation, right? And like it's different traditions in religions and in societies and in small cultures, tribes. But we don't have that. Like there's the high school graduation a little bit, but there's, and I don't remember the exact specifics, but for some reason it's different. At least in the US and in some cultures, like where we don't have like a meaningful kind of like path to fatherhood, or at least like or not fatherhood, but like to manhood or whatever. Or at least not consistently, because like sometimes what we do have is maybe driven by a father figure, which many people don't have because like a lot of people get divorced or like have single parents or for whatever reason. So yeah, there's a lot of there is a hole in a lot of people's lives. But and these grifters come and fill the holes, which is terrible, but they're only able to do it because no one else is filling the holes, so it's not to take the blame away from them, but there's a larger problem that like is causing this that gets talked about less, like why is there a hole in this person's life that any asshole can just, take a shovel and just throw a bunch of crap on it and get him to believe stuff? Well, because, no one else has got that shovel. And like, how do we get people to get the shovel and make
a lot of that goes back to even the beginnings of religion, where it was created so that to answer questions that people had no answers for, like the moon going away and stuff like that. And now we have answers for stuff, but those answers don't always fulfill us. And so, yeah, you're right. Why are people so gullible? Why are they so empty? What is not being given to people when they're children or as they grow up and can question things for themselves that these guys are offering? Because what they're offering is, from the outside, is hokum. You give me your money, hokum. I wanted to say bullshit, but I didn't want to swear. So, you give us money and we'll help you get closer to God, who is supposed to care about you. And yet our whole relationship is, if you don't do exactly what I say, you're going to burn in hell for eternity. And that's not a really great relationship. You know,
Yeah. No.
I love you if you love me, but I'm still going to do, I'm still going to let horrible things happen all over. And then people will just chalk it up to my will. So, these guys are saying, if you give me this, and then we will, and we will get stronger and we will take over, and then our way of thinking will rule the world. And if you get these guys all, these groups all brainwashed, they're like, yeah, okay. Because a lot of the people, the regular people that they interviewed in this Hillsong thing, former staffers and stuff, were just, New York is a lonely place, and these people were looking for somewhere to belong.
It was in
And
New York?
the one that Justin Bieber got involved in, they're all over the world.
Wow.
But the one in New York was the one with this big rock star preacher who went on The View and all kinds of places. And part of their thing was welcome home and you belong. So it was creating this false sense of community that then, once they became popular, the people who really needed that community were being pushed to the back or pushed out so that the celebrities could come. And then these preachers became, the old trope about certain celebrities you can't make eye contact with and you can't talk to them and blah, blah, blah. That was how it was with these guys. All the volunteers said, yeah, when they were coming in, we knew that we could not talk to them. We couldn't make eye contact. We couldn't ask them a question. They would walk in, walk on stage, do their show, and then walk back out to the car and leave. So I don't know. The more I see these, it's for me, it's a very good psychological study. Because having been brought up Catholic and all of this, and I listen, if people believe, I'm happy for them. If it gives you comfort, good for you. But I read something just a few weeks ago, and I was like, wow, that kind of makes sense. And it was basically, if you went to your doctor and your doctor told you, listen, I just work in mysterious ways, we'll get this figured out, you wouldn't really believe it. But, I'm not saying you shouldn't have faith. I'm not saying you shouldn't be religious. I'm just, I'm looking at the Catholic Church, which I grew up in, the biggest landowners in the world, all the atrocities being covered up for so many years, and all the money that has gone to protect men that people entrusted themselves and their children with. And all of these Christians who preach all this stuff that is not, it, if you believe the Bible, it's not how Jesus would have acted, so to cloak yourself in Jesus and Christianity and God and then act completely the opposite doesn't make much sense to me.
But what about Hunter Biden's laptop?
That's a good question, Cody. I'm wondering what's on Hunter Biden's laptop.
What about Hillary's emails?
What about Hillary's emails?
And what about Bill Clinton having sex?
Yeah, what about that?
What about 9/11 being an inside job?
What about the whataboutisms?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
All these things are true.
You're not saying, you're just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions.
All right.
I'm just asking questions. All these questions are true.
Yeah.
That's all the time we got, folks. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry that I went off on that tangent.
That's fine. I have a bunch of things to say about Buddhism, but I'm way too tired to get into it. Because Buddhism's great. All
right.
There was a request in the chat from Sandy to talk about your last day of school. If you had any thoughts on that.
I talked about it last week.
Did you talk about it last week?
Yeah.
I thought you just
talked about getting the gifts and the kids and the hugs and the,
Oh, that's right.
The pictures and all that. Yeah. Sandy, go back and listen to last week's episode. It was phenomenal.
Are you sure you didn't talk about it on your radio show? Because I don't remember hugs and pictures.
Oh, maybe I didn't.
It might have been your radio show. Can they go to WTMJ?
I have so many media outlets.
You do. Can they go to the WTMJ.com website?
Sure. They can listen to that. WTMJ nights. You can listen to all the shows.
Yeah.
They're fantastic too. Boom. Giving you a lot of things to listen to.
Yeah.
So
I have nothing for anyone to listen to. So that's great.
Well, you got this.
You got this.
And if you hold your daughter to the window, everybody in the neighborhood can listen to some contents coming from your house.
Dude, I'm telling you. Oh yeah, and the one boy.
Oh, the one boy, the human equivalent of Pigpen, who we thought had pinworm.
Didn't you ask? Wait, oh, you told the. Did you tell the?
We thought he had pinworm right before the end of school, like 2 days left. All right, Cody, you have a 2.5-year-old son.
Wait, did you tell me the pinworm story off air?
I may have.
Week.
I don't know. All I know is he was itching his ass.
But what's pinworm again for those who don't?
Some I don't know, bacteria or thing that's in your anus, and that's what it is. You asked.
I know.
What am I going to say? So that's where he was digging around, and one of the other teachers, was like, "What's the matter with you?" And he goes, and he gets all upset. My butt itches so much, it's the pinworm. Now at 6, you don't know what pinworm is unless you have it. And you've heard it in your house.
Unless you heard it in your house.
His second grade brother was also digging in his ass for the same amount of weeks.
That's rough.
And actually, this kid went up to his teacher because we talked to that we compared notes because we had the siblings and they're both, and put his hand in the teacher's face. Like, I gotta go wash my hands. I gotta go wash my hands. And she's like, okay, first of all, get your hand out of my face. Why do you have to wash your hands? He goes, well, I was itching my butt and I got poo on my fingers. She's like, oh my God, go to the bathroom, wash your hands. So now he comes back and he did that at like 8:30. Now it's 10:30 and he's squirming around in his seat. And she's like, what is the matter? And he's like, I thought I just had to fart, but I pooped my pants a while ago. And so I've been sitting, he was sitting in his own poop. So she sends him to the bathroom. Then later that day, he does it again. Just drops a loaf right in his shorts.
Okay.
So that's the second grader. The first grader says he has pinworm. We all look up pinworm because we're grown people. We don't know what pinworm is. We look it up. It's like, oh, good. It's contagious if a kid doesn't wash his hands and then is touching stuff.
Oh,
and this kid is a gross. He could be in the classroom, walk in maybe clean. Within 5 minutes, it looks like he's been rolling around wrestling a pig in slop. He's so filthy. So I'm sure, we're all panicked now. So we send him to the nurse. And my co-teacher sends a note to the nurse. Hey, he said he has pinworm. Nobody knows what pinworm is if they don't have it or haven't heard about it or it's not going around their house. It can spread on your sheets. It can spread on dirty clothes. It can spread with dirty hands. It's gross. So anyway, the nurse calls the mom. The mom goes, he doesn't have pinworm. And it's like, all right, whatever. Kid comes back the next day. We're like, get away. You're dirty boy. You're infected. And he comes in and he brings in a nice card for both of us. And, kids brought cards and some kids drew pictures and it was really nice. And then when we went to send the kids for dismissal, we're out there and one girl's parents had brought each of us a basket that they had made them with a bottle of wine in it and some chocolate and a couple of little, teacher insulated mug and stuff. So it was very nice. It was great. And some of the kids wanted their parents wanted their pictures with us to remember first grade. So that was good. And it was, it was nice. It was nice. But there were a couple kids that until now, I haven't thought of them. I miss 98% of them. There's a couple that I'm like, I won't, I wish them well. I'll just say that. I don't wish them ill, but I don't. Yeah, that's it.
Good. Yeah.
So that was the end. I may have glossed over it on, I have a lot of media.
You do a lot of media.
I do a lot of media.
Yeah.
Guesting here and there. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad. Thank you. Glad I've answered your questions. I appreciate the interest in you. Thanks for holding, as we used to say in the old time radio game. Thanks for holding.
And perfect. Yeah. Thanks
That's
for waiting to the end of the full length program. We didn't go short somehow.
No, and we're
But I
both
am
still
gonna
semi-awake.
my
So
ashwagandha is kicking. It doesn't work like that, but I'm tired.
that's where Black Panther came from, right?
That would be
Ashwagandha forever.
I believe it was ashwagandha forever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool flick. Cool
All right.
flick.
Like, subscribe, follow.
Tell a friend
spread
about the
word.
show. And I'll see you Saturday.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Thanks for listening again, Cody. Always a pleasure. I
Somebody
look
said-
forward to your hair being completely unkempt again next week. I like the
No.
unnatural. Yes.
No, that'll never happen again. Somebody said you mirrored again, but you look fine to me.
Nope. I was mirrored at the very, very beginning of the program, and I caught myself before somebody else did it. Here, I'll show. No, look. See, here. If I were mirrored, it would look like this.
I think I'm mirrored. No, I'm not mirrored.
There. Now, I am definitely not mirrored.
All right. It doesn't matter. Why we do?
I don't know. We're leaving. We're
I gotta
saying
go.
goodbye.
Yeah. Bye.